fixated on you from the beginning. If you're the one that's got your eyes fixated on attracted to you, so she may have her eyes fixated across the dude across the street. So now you got to figure out what you got to do to get her from him. So that means connection, not attraction. So that means whatever you did to connect with her, that's what you got to keep going. Whether it was drinking with her, you may have to become an alcoholic. Whether it was smoking weed with her, you may have to bud head to keep. You may have did a primo with her one day, and so but now you got to keep them going. So now you're doing that because it's the law of attraction. In everything, there's a law of attraction. Like I said, people take the God situation. They take God, devil. They take love. They take hate. They take evil. They take angel. They say demon. All of that is just allegories for what feels good and what don't. Because all you got in this world are your senses, and which is your common senses. That's what you got. That's the one thing you got in this world is your common senses and your ability to survive. There's nothing else you really have. So everything else you attaching to your senses. So if I go into believing outside of my senses, which tell me what feels good and what don't, and I start adding titles to it, then over generations we'll put faces to it too. So now the devil got horns with a little pitchfork. Now Jesus got a halo over us. All of this is just pictures that add up to a situation. The situation is what feels, what don't. You can call it good. You can
Exactly.
call it evil. Call it, you can call it a lie. You can call it the truth. You can call it demon. You can call it angel. Call it what you want. But it all adds up to what feels good, what don't. That's
Exactly.
the moral of our
Exactly.
story. That is that is the moral to our human story. What feels good, what don't. No matter what you say, you can say, "Well, I'm a atheist. I'm a whatever the title you talk about. It either makes you feel good or it don't. Because that's all we can do with our senses. Feel. So it either feels good or it don't. Whatever title you put on it, that's up to you. That's my wife. That's just a title. We went to the church. We got married. That was just a ritual. The truth is, it feels good when we connected around each other. Because if it didn't, we wouldn't be around each other. It's what feels. It's what feels good and what don't. If I throw a rock through your window and it made me feel good, it's not going to seem evil to me. What you're saying is evil. That concept is not going to make sense to me because it feels good what I just did. Well, why'd you do that? Because that's the dude that been breaking in the houses down the street. See what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, what feels good and what don't? What are the Ten Commandments? Five of them are for God, five of them are for man. Well, what they about? Making him feel good, making us feel good. Anything outside of feeling good, we call it evil. So anything that's written down that ain't got nothing feeling good, we're gonna call it evil. So let's talk about the Farrakhan. Let's look at what Farrakhan is doing on a larger scale. What is his initial message? Allah. Behind that, what is the real message? White man's the devil. Okay. So he's saying that so that means that he's involved with the allegories. He's calling people devils. Funny part about Farrakhan calling the white man the devil is the book that he reading he got from a white. The book that Elijah Muhammad passed to him came from a white man. But the white
Dang.
but they believe in what they believe the book that the white man gave them as they tell their people the white man's the devil. It doesn't make any logical sense. So that means that you've been put in place by this government to help with the segregation operation. Keep these people hating those people. segregation operation. All the ones that speak segregation are the ones that are alive. All the ones that spoke love and unity, all dead. Because the powers that be need pain and struggle to exist so they can come on their programs called TV and tell us about problems. They give us food that mess up your teeth so that they can have dentists. They give you food that mess up your digestive system so you can have a doctor. It all goes together. What feels good and what don't is life. That's all you got to really worry about. Everything else is going to confuse you. Should I be a Muslim? Should I be a Christian? What is God? All that's going to confuse you. What feels good and what don't. Like when you if you ask yourself, what is God? What feels good is what it is. What don't feel good about that is what it is. Instead of trying to convince somebody about God, why don't you question yourself about what you're experiencing? Does it feel good or does it don't? It don't. Because the one who create it that created this universe had good in mind. Because that's how everything turned out. The apples turned out good, the oranges turned out good, trees turned out good, birds turned out perfectly good, alligator turned out good, the mosquito turned out good, the wasp turned out good, the dolphin turned out good, the sky turned out good. The seven the layers of atmosphere in between the sky from the smog zone to the exosphere, all that came out. So anything that's the opposite of that, we just call it bad because it don't feel good. We all we have is senses. We're conscious beings that's in some oculus glasses called the human body. This body is connected to the particle system called this world. I am feeling it because of my senses. So what will enable me to have wise decisions in the simulation if I base it on what feels good and what don't. If I go off of what titles are, I can be misled. Because even though it don't feel good, the way you making it sounds good. And then I end up doing something don't feel good, but it sounded good. If you do what feels good, your life just be good. If you're trying to do things that don't feel good to you, that's where all the trouble comes. That's where all the depression and all that come from. Accepting things that don't feel good to you. You're allowing things to be in your life that don't feel good to you. You know they don't feel good to you, and you gave it a position in your life. Then you're wondering why you're upset partially in your life or upset because you're looking at life based on titles. Well, they said they love me. They said they care about me. No, forget all that. How does it feel when you're around that person? Because that's the truth. No matter what nobody said to you, how do you feel when you're around that person? Because that's the truth. Man, I be feeling comfortable. You feel comfortable around them? Yeah, I feel comfortable. Right? So you sense that you feel that that's a good person then, because it either feels good or it don't, right? So you feel that that's a good person. But then you got those people you like, yeah, I like kicking it with them, but I don't like staying too long. They get the trip, right? Because even though you recognize that it ain't good for you, you still allow yourself to be present somewhere that ain't good for you. So whatever happens to you that ain't good for you, you gotta accept it. Because if you really went off of what's good for you, it'll probably just be you, your kids, your girl. You probably have people you associate with. That'll be it. You won't be looking for desires and stuff because you're going off of you what feels good to me. Well, waking up, being grateful for life, working and accomplishing something for myself. A small scale, it could be a small scale, whatever. Just my day to day. Let's not talk about our dreams and let's not talk about our past. Let's talk about this present moment where we what we can do with it, and what we've done with the moments that we've already had in it in this present moment. That's the most important, because somebody can be depressed, right? And they can say, "Yeah, man, yesterday was so horrible." Okay, now let's be real about it. You can't see yesterday, you can't feel yesterday, you can't touch yesterday. Right now, I'm looking at you. There's nothing going on. There's no problems around you. But the amazing part is your mentality is attached to yesterday. So even though I see you today, the amazing part is you're not living in today, because your mind is attached to yesterday, something that don't exist. That's why you're not existing in this present moment. That's why you're not getting things you need to get done in this present moment, because everything that's in your mind has something to do with yesterday. So, so instead of feeling good that you woke up, you feeling bad about something that happened yesterday, which is something you can't even prove that really happened. We all had one, but can you actually prove that it really happened? Between the dream state and the reality state, could you actually say that yesterday was not a dream, and it has always been this present moment? And then I shut down into this thing called sleep, and my body is connected to the system called night and day. And so when I wake up, if it's been altered, then I consider it to be a new day, because there's a calendar around me telling me new day, and there's a watch around on my hand telling me that it's new time. But all of that's a lie, because when I wake up, it's still the same day. Nothing changed. It was never yesterday. It was never tomorrow. This has always been the same day. This was the same day I was born. It's just that that's what the magic of this simulation is. You know how when you put your avatar to sleep on a video game, and then it'll show that your
Abracadabra.
avatar is asleep, and then when it wakes up, when your avatar wakes up, now it's night, a daytime outside. Same thing. It's still the same day. You playing that game right then and there, even though his day is changing. Same thing with us. Our soul is playing this game. It's changing the day function based on what I learn. As I learn in this present moment, when I go to sleep, the universe puts together the things that I learned. So when I wake up, all those things will be present for the same day. So then when that job calls and says, "Yeah, you're coming in today," it's the same day. It was never Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That don't even. Those are things to put in. Those are things to program us so we can age ourselves, so we can doubt that we live long, because they didn't want us to live longer. So they had to make us tell ourselves that we're not gonna live. So because you can't stun a man's growth, you got to make him believe that he's gonna die. You make him believe that, then it'll stun his growth. See, back then, those men didn't have watches and didn't give a damn what the weekend and all that was. You can't find one scripture about Moses where they said 12:30. They didn't give a damn about it. But see, those men were also living to 300 years old, 200 years, because they didn't give a damn about that. They said, "We're going to shorten these men's days." That's, the watches on. What you mean Thursday? Yeah, today's Thursday. And it's April. April, what's that? But that's what you win. You April, today's Thursday, April. What is all that? It's 6:30. What is all this? Where is it? I don't see April. Where is April? What is April? Where is it? No, that's what this is. So then once I start believing that, now I think it's July. But what is July? What is it? It is a structure that was put on a piece of paper that now I believe. What is it to really? What is it to existence for real? Nothing, because you're gonna live and you're gonna nothing in between can change that. Not 5:30, 6:30, or 7. So that's why you gotta live in the present moment. And all the things that you really want to do in life, or the things that you really want to achieve in your heart, just do it. Don't worry about who see it, and don't worry about who's connected to it, because you gotta remember that's what makes you feel good. That's what life's all about. That's where life starts. When a baby comes out the womb and starts crying, the first objective is to make that baby feel good. They get the blood out the nose, they get the blood out the mouth, they start rubbing the baby just to start the feeling good process. But this is what life is about. Every baby that's brought into this world is introduced to what life is really about. Because the first people that see you are trying to make you feel good. But then as you get older and grow into life circumstances and life situations, and all these new things are presented to you, that's when life can get bad. Because now you're making the choice of things that don't make you feel good. You're making the choice on that. When you picked up your first joint, you picked up your first cigarette, when you picked up your first bottle, why'd you do it? Because it ain't like you was the first person to ever do it. So why'd you do it? Why did I do it? Because I seen somebody else doing it. You seen somebody else doing it. Yeah, I seen somebody else doing it. That's the honest God truth. Why did you start drinking now back when you used to drink liquor? Because I saw somebody else doing it. Simple as that. So I started doing it. So it didn't have nothing to do with me. No, I didn't have nothing else to do. I just saw somebody else doing it. So now you got habits that didn't have nothing to do with you, but you just saw somebody else doing it. Yeah. So you smoke weed? Yeah, I smoke weed. You drink? No, I don't drink no more. But you smoke weed? Yeah, I smoke weed. How'd you do that? Because I saw somebody else do it. You smoke Black and Miles? Yeah, I hit Black and Miles every now and then. What made you do that? I saw somebody else doing it. So you saying that you got habits that ain't got nothing to do with you that came from you seeing somebody else do something, right? Okay, so that means that you have not been taking time out on looking into you looking at what everybody else is into. If they smiling over there about that, that means too. That has nothing to do with you. You gotta learn about you first. It makes your feel good. Your feel good should be just the fact you and that you got a chance to play with your simulation. However, what I want to be today. I sucked as a rapper. When I closed my eyes yesterday, woke up, I remember I sucked as a mechanic. So I'm not gonna be a mechanic because in life you only get one life to live, but you get a million ways. You don't have to be the person you are right now. You can let go of that person out right now and pick up another one. You don't owe nobody nothing. You do what makes you happy. You're the only one that's gonna die. When your whole family can be in there with you on the last day you die, but you the one that got to take your last breath yourself. Ain't no such thing as nobody did with you. I heard somebody tell me that, like, yeah, but it ain't gonna happen like that with me. Now my whole family gonna be there. I said, it don't matter if your whole family there. You gonna take that last breath by yourself. You gonna clock out on your own. They can hold your hand and all that. That clock out, you going by yourself. Nature don't care about cousins and brothers titles like that. That's us that care about it. Nature don't got nothing to do with it. Nature don't know about you loving your mother, your sister. It don't know nothing about it. All it know is this is ripe, it lives. It's not ripe, it dies. That's all it knows. Take it out. So as we get older, we reach a certain level that we produce a certain amount of energy, and it starts at 66,000 days. That's why they 16. So 66,000 days go by, and you start to develop a certain degree of awareness. Inside of that degree of awareness, you start putting together what makes you feel good. What is you? What is you? The being, the nobody. What makes you feel good? Being in the simulation. Because you're here, you don't know why you're here. So the last thing you need to be doing is being unhappy that you're here because you didn't put yourself here. So why be unhappy in a situation that was meant for you to be happy? Something put you here because they thought it would be happy for you, it would be a happy situation for you. They thought you was gonna stay looking at the beauty of the trees and the beauty of nature, the beauty of the ocean, and the beauty. And they thought you was going to continue to explore and to live life. But then all these distractions came around: cell phones, internet, TV. All these things took us away from just feeling good. So now we think that you got to have this and got to have that because it was presented to us. Same thing I said when what you start what made you start smoking? I seen somebody else. Same thing. What made you think you was a crip? I seen it on this called Colors. What makes you think your homeboy a killer? Because that's how it was on this movie. This dude was doing that on this movie. Dang. So what do they call it? A program? I wonder. because it's really programmed us thinking that there's another alternative. Now we think there's another way of feeling outside of feeling, because that's why they show us nothing but bad. They show us the news is bad because they want to show you the opposite of what you are. You good. So why would they want to show you good on TV? That's what you already are. The object is to show you bad so you can make a choice on what you are. Now you're experiencing life. No different than once you put a negative charge on a battery, then put the positive charge on there, down the car starts because you have the negative and the positive present at the same time. So something already knew you was good. That's why it puts all the bad. If we was bad naturally, then the world would be full of good. And then uh, to be good would be the bad thing because we're naturally bad. So if we was naturally evil and naturally bad, the whole world was actually. Why would they show us movies like Halloween, Friday 13th, but we're all naturally evil and bad? It wouldn't make sense. The truth is, they showing you that you. That's why they show you bad things. That's the only reason why they show us bad things. Because we're good. We're designed good. We're designed great. Just like the animals we're good. We're just good. There's nothing wrong with living and dying. There's nothing wrong with it. But then something came around and wanted me to do something living or die. And if I feed into that, now I forget that, dang, it was nothing negative about living and dying. Nothing negative about it. It's just natural. I ain't seen one squirrel stay in the tree for a week because he feels like he gonna die soon. They're not programmed to think like that. We are. The squirrel wasn't given no alternative, so he gonna live till he. The deer wasn't given no alternative. He gonna live till he. The gorilla, he was not given that alternative. He gonna live till he die. But for some reason, humans were given this alternative outside of what we are. They showed us the opposite of, and so a lot of people fell into the opposite of what we are and became the opposite of what we are. And now this world is full of the opposite, but they normalize the opposite of what we are, and now the opposite of what we are seems good now. Now it seems good to say I got bodies. Like if a dude say I got bodies, they like, oh, he got. We we lost track. What's good? Because they showed us so much bad. It gave us an alternative to feed into it. We fed into that bad, and now there's no more thinking that the world is good or balanced. There's bad. There's no balance in between them because people can be bad, or people can be good. That choice, that alternative, is what messed the whole world. Because before that choice, we were just good. There was no reason to be bad. There was no reason for me to be jealous of him or any of that. Soon as somebody gave us an alternative, if you read the story about Adam and Eve, and I'm only speaking from allegorical perspectives. If you read the story about Adam and Eve, it's a story about them being offered an alternative. Everything's all right until an alternative came into play. You ain't gonna die. Matter of fact, you'll be just like them, live forever. Okay, that alternative came. So what we got to do? You can make your own people. How? Take that, inject that in her, and y'all can make your own people. You don't have to wait on him to make y'all people, own people. See us? We all over here. Wow, it's a lot of them over there. So people be wondering where Cain went after he left. He left with those people that came over there and told them. They called him the serpent because the serpent is a name for one that doesn't repent. If you doesn't repent, he's a serpent. It's a symbol. People took the symbol of the snake and took it as the serpent being a snake, crawling on the belly, meaning being under, being beneath. So Those who don't repent will always be under those who do. That's where all the jealousy and all that, because they got to deal with people who naturally get blessed in life. The wealthy are those that God bless in life. The rich are those who had to walk over people to get there. They look like the wealthy people, but it's a lot of bloodshed on the rich side. The wealthy people did nobody get hurt because they didn't fall a victim to the alternative. Once you fall a victim to the alternative, you just take your plate out of your real who you are. Who you are is good. And so when you think about yourself being anything other than that, that's being bad because you're good. Ain't nothing wrong with you. So what that person don't do what you do, or that person can't do what you do, or you can't do what that person do? That ain't got nothing to do with being perfect. That ain't got nothing to do with you being great. You were put here to be happy like everybody else. So watch what takes that from you. What is happy? Happy is feeling good. You can't. That's why they say you can't give nobody happy because it's something that they got to do within. They got to be feeling about themselves. Happiness comes from feeling good about yourself. Feeling good about yourself comes from not comparing yourself to others. You want to feel good about yourself, stop comparing yourself to everybody. You start feeling great about yourself. You smile at yourself in the mirror and shit. Stop thinking about other people. You start smiling at yourself. Some people, they true, they lose it, man. They lose the focus of good and evil being what feels good and what don't. And all these titles have come upon us that separated mankind. Now he think he's an atheist. You're not an atheist. You're gonna die just like a Christian, and that Christian gonna die just like. You know what's so funny about all you calling yourselves different stuff? That they all y'all gonna have a tombstone. That means that y'all was under the same thing. Even though y'all calling yourself different names, whatever y'all calling yourself, it treated y'all the same.
The
The
same
Muslim
way.
man got treated like the Christian man. Christian man got treated like the Buddha man, all put in the ground once they didn't have no more energy. So what's the segregation for? When we all getting treated the same. Show me a man that's getting treated different. You can't. You. Some people say, well, the white man, he got. How does the white man got anything when the cemetery's full of them? And today, 8,000 of them just died. They dying every second like we are because there's something that don't care what color you are that got us all under the same rules. It's just that us inside of those rules, we start segregating ourselves, thinking we're better than one or the other. But the only way you can be better than me if you don't die. If your lineage is not dying, y'all better. If they got if your lineage got tombstones, bro, we all in the same boat. We all been put here uh before the starting point. See, we already had a life, but something put us before our life. Now I got to go through this before I live, which is okay. I'm okay with it. I got to go through this before I live. That's cool. I ain't living yet. I just got life. So once I come out of this cocoon, I get to live. So till then, anybody that's on the planet unhappy has lost track of them being good because that's the first thing that humans did to you when you came out your mother's womb. Tried to make you feel good because that's the real objective. When you're a baby, somebody's trying to change your pamper, somebody's putting a bib around your neck, all this to make you feel good. Then once you get old enough to start hanging around people on your own, it's easy to lose track of that. Now you looking at this dude, and he got on some brand new shoes, and somehow you didn't fixated shoes into you, who you are. So now you thinking because his shoes are better than yours, he better. So now you don't even want to be around. when he around because he dressed better. Look at all this stuff that you doing that ain't got nothing to do with you. That is crazy when you think about it. Like death has a non-biased approach. When you look at the monks that's way up in the mountains and all that, they all nothing. Because death says, I don't care what diet you on. I don't care how you look. What, you want to go up in the mountain, be quiet. Go on up there. And when you get through, I'm coming to get you. You can't find nowhere, you can't find a
That's just
religion in this
funny.
world that I want to get. Think about it. The monk going all the way up in the mountains. He's being quiet. He's wearing his suit. He's grabbing his beads and rolling them, and it ain't changing nothing. That's just his perception until death comes. That man says, well, I'm just going to be a monk. That's just until death comes. I'm going to be a Catholic. That's just until death. See, we got to wake up to the real reality. These titles don't mean nothing
Nothing.
because everybody dies. Everybody dies. So that means you being better, them being better, it's all an illusion. The government being over you, that's a lie. Nobody's over you. Nobody's over you. It's an illusion. Nobody is you. You can turn your reality into whatever you be be as long as you believe in yourself. You don't have the magic slippers like Dorothy. All you need the magic slippers in your life is the belief in yourself. Click that belief in yourself on, and anything's possible in your life. As long as you doubt yourself, then the universe won't give you the things that you're asking for. The universe know your attention, but if you put doubt there, it becomes a wall that the nature can't bring you what you need. But when you take doubt out of yourself, that was the whole allegory about Jesus walking on water. It's not that a man's actually water. It's just a way of saying anything's possible when you believe. When you believe anything's possible, you can walk on. He was on the edge of the shore, but not in no deep water. But the apocalypse of his story says he was in shallow water, just like the story of splitting the Red Sea. They said that water, the apocalypse uh, story says that water wasn't even knee high. Of course, because the more dramatical they can make it, the more believers they can. This is all about believers because if they don't get these people that are not woke to believe, it'll be crazy around because people will start trying to figure it out. Like, like, well, what happens to me or what goes on? So they create all these stories. Like, here's heaven, here's hell. They said this. They said, how many heavens is it? They said, well, you know, well, they were saying the five heavens. Okay, now heaven is a word for sky. Now, let's look at the small zone, the troposphere, the stratosphere, exosphere, the magnetic sphere. Okay, those are five heavens right there. Each one of those brackets of the atmosphere has a different climate, different. We fly in the stratosphere. When our communication is done through the ionosphere, where our communication is being handled, that's not where. So you think about that. That word is an original word for sky. You think about the troposphere, the stratosphere, the different layers to this heaven. This heaven makes up many heavens. And then there's the last part of heaven, the sky, the exosphere, where that's what we call the universe. That's the last part of it. And so, but in our minds, as human beings, we looking at heaven as a um, place that's tied to a religion. No, man. No. No, man. You're going to live and die like the squirrels and everything else. Anything you do between that, that's just because you can. You was given the ability to, but that doesn't change what's really. We here waiting to live, and the only way we gonna be able to live is to die. So the only way to die is to live. So we gotta live to die just so we can live. We gotta live to die. Accidents happen, but the majority of us gotta live just to die. And then that death turns into your life. But you let the allegories tell it. Oh, he went to heaven. He went to hell. That spirit went into a body not even 30 seconds after that person's last breath. So if that person died 5 years ago, they're about 5 years old somewhere on this planet. Nature is a recycling situation. It don't care about your little stories and all. Yeah, he went to heaven and he went right into another body that was being born on this planet. He won't have no memories of who, but he will not remember dying. Just like we never do. We never remember dying. We didn't went through that process so many times we remember it. And then when we do, it just happens so fast. You don't get to hold on. You don't get to hold on and say, "Oh, let me take okay, I'm about to take my last breath. Let me take my memories of my girl." It don't work like that. Once you get into that other system, that's the new system you in, and it'll be like you waking up. It'll be like you either waking up or it'll be like you know, you know, you may wake others the other stuff that they tell us. That's because of curiosity. People are curious about life and they want answers. And so the government knows people want answers, so they give them answers. Well, this story here, here's the story of Jesus, here's the story of this. Because the truth, we don't want to tell you the truth. The truth is, everybody that you read about was always y'all. Always y'all. Y'all ain't never read about nobody that wasn't y'all. When y'all read about the ancestors and people and 10th, that was y'all. You just don't remember it because you are a soul, a being that can live outside the body. So every time you get in one, you take on a new personality, a new person. So you won't remember the old person. It's always been us. The cavemen were us. The men that were with the dinosaurs, that was us. The men that was there seeing the pyramids built, that was us. Ain't nothing new under the sun. Not even souls. It's always been us. In the future that we talking about, when men flying around and these people, that's gonna be us. Some of us are just getting there before the other ones because they died in the 1800s. Here we are. So then when we pass, you wake up like it just like 30 seconds. Now you didn't went 500 years into that 30 seconds. You're another person, but it's 500 years that went by in that 30 seconds. And you won't even remember that, dang, that was just 30 seconds. Like if some people do remember their past life, I was this person and I was that person. Uh, this one lady said that she was part of in Egypt and all that. Yeah, but look how far that was go. 2,000 years. All that. 30 seconds later, you was 2,000 years into the future. Once you come out the body, 30 seconds later, 2,000 years in the future. So now you inside of this other body that has nothing to resemble where you just came from because your memories, you don't have your memories in it. We are fixated soul being, a being. We're fixated. into a pixelated experience that is the reason we don't know, but it doesn't hurt anything. And we've been doing it forever. There is no people. When you look back to the people in 1500, that was us. It's always been us. You know, like my grandfather, he died in 1997. So that would mean somewhere in this world, 1997, 2007, 2017, somewhere in this world, my grandfather is 27 years old. Somewhere in this world. If I go off the allegories that the world presented to me, I'll say he's either in heaven or hell. But if I can look at what nature do with the leaves and all that, I can clearly see that he's 27 years old somewhere. He don't remember um, having a family, that family. Just like I don't remember my last 20 wives. I remember the one I'm with now, but I don't remember the other ones. I don't remember the wife that I had when I was in the jungle. I don't remember the wife that I had when I was going through that ice storm. I don't remember. I don't remember my wife that I had when I seen the volcano erupting. I don't remember. I don't remember the wife I had when we was fighting in World War I. I don't remember. Life. That's the beauty of life. You're going to keep existing, but you're not going to remember because to remember is not necessary. To exist is everything. To remember is not necessary. If somebody say, "Well, we want to take your memories of when you was a kid," and if we don't, then we got to just go ahead and kill you. What you gonna do? Because you don't need memories. The memories are stored to help you, just like the library is. There to recaps, learn things that have been experienced already. Most of it, anyway. But yeah, that's what we are. You hear people talking about they're Christians, they're Baptists. The funny thing is, you hear people say they don't believe in God. They still putting this word with the real reality that they didn't make themselves, and they're not going to be determined the day they're going to die. But they still think it's not nothing greater than them. No, there's something that made this construct up. There's just no reason to think about it. You take time to think about it, then you go into these constructs of beliefs. You can't spell the word belief without the word lie in the middle, because that's what you got to do to yourself to believe anything. When you think about common sense, it's your ability to make a sound judgment of all matter. Look it up. That's what it says. Common sense. Your ability to make a sound judgment of all matter. So what would you need to believe in anything for? If somebody say to the first believer, they say, "Where's the sun?" The first believer said, "A million miles away." The second believer said, 30 million miles away. So then they asked the dude with common sense, "Where's the sun?" He said, "Right there," because that's the real truth. All that other stuff is a lie. It's 300 million miles. You ain't got one yardstick that you can show me where you measured that. But here's something that don't need measurement. The sun is right there. You can never convince me that that's a lie. So if it's right there, that means it's not out there. Y'all keep saying that it's out there. That's not common sense. Common sense says it's right there. So why you keep trying to tell me it's out there? It's right there. It's not out there. The sun is not outside of our uh, uh, out of our dome. It's just in the part of our atmosphere that we call space, up in the exosphere part. That's where it's at, and it sits like a light bulb does, like how the light bulb when you screw it in and it sits in the lamp. That's how the sun is sitting in the firmament like that, and the moon sits in it like that too. The firmament is what spins around. The dome is what's spinning around. That's what's spinning. The dome. And every time we get like every blue moon, we get rain and stuff, and it'll show us. the the colors of the energy waves that make up the existence, and it also show you the reason why it's bent like that because that's the shape of the dome, and the dome turns. It turns because it just like when you go to a club and they got those lights up there turning, and those lights are to give light on this side for a minute and then make that dark, then to come back around. Same thing. That's in the firmament. But what they tell you is that it's a million miles away, millions of millions of. No, it's not. It's right there. It's right there, literally.
It's good.
It's lit. It's literally right there, man. Right there. You can't argue that.
I was listening to you on YouTube and I popped in to say that there's a couple of people who do like independent research, like in history and all that. They read stuff. They like do their own due diligence, and they say the same thing that the actual firmament itself is what's spinning around. It's like we're stationary. We're not moving. The entire sky is like some kind of projection or hologram or something, and it's just like moving around, and everything is local. And
Mhm.
I've seen this video
Yeah.
on Rumble because you can't have these kind of videos on YouTube. So I was like on Rumble once, and I was like looking up random videos with like Freemasons and stuff. And this Russian Freemason made a video that was like explaining what they were taught that the world was. And it's like there's like a black sun under this thing, and then our sun, and then the moon is like the polar dynamic or dynamo or whatever, and it acts like some kind of like magnet rotating.
They work together. It's three of them. We have the one that's 120 million feet above, under our feet, which is called the Earth's uh, core, which is the one sheet of energy. Then you have the moon, and then you have the sun. The, the sun, the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost. That's the allegory part. I'm just showing like those three work together in the system. Inside of the system, there's canals inside of the system. Inside of the canals of this system, the real beings live here. They're just not human, but they're beings. We are human beings. That means fixated beings. But then there's beings that are of the earth. We were put on the earth. Then there's those that are of the earth. The ones that are of the earth, they live in the earth. The ones that were put on the earth live on the top of the earth.
Hey,
So that's why we are the lesser species of beings, of intelligent beings. We're the lesser species. That's why we're the ones with the animals.
you know what's something
The other
interesting to
ones,
look at? If you ever get the chance to, and if you ever remember to, look up on YouTube how people actually design open world video games, like Far Cry, Fallout, GTA, stuff like that. Like how they actually design the open world themselves to have the sky, to have the atmosphere, to have the sun, to have like the lights go around and everything in the map. It's
mhm,
like the way that they gotta design those things would kind of give you some clues as to how this whole thing was designed in a sense.
yeah. If you've seen the flower of life, when you're looking at the flower of life, what you're looking at is a flat version of the multi dimensions that are connected by domes. Like we're like there's domes upon domes upon domes around us. Like when we what we call outer space, because if I tell you to go outside, you're not going to go up. Start trying to jump up. You're going to go outward. So outer space means you got to go through the ocean, through the firmament. I mean the ground of the earth, the firmament of the ground and the ocean. To go through that, then you can get outer space into the other area that has a dome. That area that has a dome is an area that we would consider another dimension because we will not be able to see it with our fixated eyes. But to travel to it, you got to use the ground itself. And to get to it, you have to use the ocean. So when you come out on that side over there, when you come through their side, you come out of the ocean. That is why when the people, that's why when the beings do come to the earth, come out, When we see them, we always see them in the sky over the ocean. That's where they're coming out of. Then they'll drop back in. They're not coming from the ocean. The ocean is a highway that they use to go to outer space. Outer space meaning the outer uh, dimension outside of our dome is called outer space. So to get to these outer spaces, we have to go through the Earth. Now, from our telescopes, we are fortunate enough to look in our atmosphere, but also see different suns and domes. We call it our solar system. And we look at them, we say that's Saturn, that's this. But these are all in another dome. They're not in our dome. These are in other domes. We can see it, but we can't get to it. So to get to it, we have to understand the universal laws of traveling, which is through consciousness and through certain elements that we haven't been fixated on using yet, that the beings that's in the earth use. We still using like iron and coal and stuff like that. They don't use none of that stuff. They've been crystal based and herb based from the beginning. What they can do with crystals, our technology right now can't even match it. What they can do with crystals. That's why when they show you Superman, the allegory Superman, they show you him with a crystal, this kryptonite or whatever. But it's really that allegory is really based around truth because the magic is in the crystals. The crystals is everything. So when you say, here we are learning how to fly a plane one way, that's because we're using force and the laws of physics to carry ourselves. These beings don't need the laws of our physics to travel because they never doubted themselves. So their technology is fixated with their mentality. So as they think, that's what their technology do. If they want to lift a brick that weighs 50 tons with that crystal that they have, they can do it because they'll never doubt that they can. See, we've been kicked out of the garden. That's why we own the roof. Like if you look at if you look at let's say all of us in this room right now were aliens coming to this planet and we couldn't see nothing but on the roofs of these houses and we see the birds and we see the squirrels. So but we don't see no humans. We just see that. That's what we don't think is on the planet. We don't think these animals because we don't have the understanding of a house. We're just going off of what we see, and what we see is the squirrel, and this is we don't think that. And then once we finally get down on the surface, where we can go into these little things that we see, that's when we see something. Oh, what's that? Same thing with us. We're on the surface of the earth. So that means that we're not the actual real residents of it. There are people that live here for real. They're beings. This is where they always been. Us, we're fixated. Them are the actual inhabitants of it. So they know how to come to our world. We just don't know how to go to theirs. They know how to come to ours because they never doubted. Doubt is something that came with us. Doubt was put to us. Doubt it stops the connection with nature. It stops your connection with the laws of attraction and nature. Doubt does. So something taught us doubt, and it weakened our abilities of a being. So now we don't move like beings. We don't walk on water. We can't levitate. We can't talk to each other because we doubt all that already. So we're out of the league as far as being superhuman. I mean, super beings.
You
But
can't
there's
say
super
it like
beings
that
on.
though, because not every, we don't doubt. You're instilling it by saying that right now, because we kind of broke out of that already. Or we breaking out. We ain't none of that shit. We ain't stuck in none of that. But that was what it was. Yep.
Yeah, we're not stuck in it. What we're stuck in right now. You can tell that we're primitive beings. We're not like the ones in the earth because we call ourselves crayons. Like we call ourselves black, white, crayons. We call ourselves at the crayons, and we really think that we're that crayon. Like I'll say, like I'm a black man, and then like for example, the man is the land, and the land is the man. Scriptures say that whatever created that man took the dust of the dirt and made that man, which means the man is the land and the land is the man. So whatever the land is called, so shall the man be. So if that's in Africa, I'm gonna see an Africa, African. If that's China, I'm gonna see Chinese. If that's Australia, I'm gonna see Australians. If that's Brazil, I'm gonna see Brazilians. So the question is to the crayon, where is black? Where is the place called black? Because the man is the land and the land is the man. So if we got used to calling ourselves something that ain't connected to land, that's why we the man with no land.
Yeah, random question though, bro. You born between November and January?
I was born February the 8th.
All right, good enough.
Age of Aquarius. Time of revealing. And that's where we're at, man. We're living in a time right now.
March 7th, just in case you know your stuff.
March 7th. So well, even with that, like the zodiacs and all that, even with that, like when you take
Just
one
another
away, then
system.
yeah, you take one away, it affects like if you born in December, that means all your birthday parties. Let's say you born in December and you live in Chicago. That means all your birthday parties was inside. Let's say you was born in Chicago and your birthdays was in July. That means all your parties was outside. Since a baby, you've been celebrating your birthdays from 2 years old because it's cold on the inside based on that month you was born. Him on and outside. When y'all grow up, y'all gonna naturally have two different mentalities. Naturally. Without no zodiacs involved and nothing. It's just based on climate, when you was born, and the behavior of people that's born under certain climate circumstances. They're gonna act different. A child that's born in the summer gonna act different than a child that's born in the winter. A child that's born in the fall gonna act different than a child that's born in the spring because they how their birthdays come around and what's happening at that time is different. So it causes for a separation in identity. So this identity is connected with as the seasons do turn, how are the stars set up their system of the zodiacs, the 12, but it's actually 13 because they took the serpent away. So we got these 12 systems that they're using to say he's an Aquarius, he's this, and he's that. Well, me and Booker, we both Aquarius. Now, he has a life where he grew up and he's doing music. He's a people person. People gravitate to him. I have those same qualities. But at the same time, we were spending our birthdays the same way. We wasn't spending our birthdays like the dude in July. The dude in July and August, they're gonna have more of an understanding than the dude in January and February.
Hold up. They're gonna have a more for understanding of what?
Well, I'm just saying, like, what I'm saying is that if you're born in the wintertime, and let's say that every time your birthday come around, is 4 inches of snow on the ground. So your birthday, you're in the side, you got gloves on. Meanwhile, it's my birthday comes around, and it's in July every time. And every time I come out, I'm at the swimming pool. I got a different mentality than you do, even though like I'm 2 years old, you're 2 years old. Now we growing up with our birthdays. We've been celebrating. We got memories for 20 years of our birthdays. When our birthdays come around, the celebration, the way we celebrate it and all that, it affects you, your mentality. A person that's born in the winter is going to naturally act different than a person that's born in the summer. It's just nature. When all
So,
these
but
other
no, I'm
constructs,
trying. I asked you what did you
what?
mean when you said they're gonna have a better understanding? I'm just saying of what you were saying. What do you mean by that? Because I'm listening what you're saying.
I'm saying that you'll have a better understanding of why someone has a different approach than you do based on how and when y'all was born. Circumstances is what mold and shape people, not titles. I can call you, I can call, even though you were cancer, let's say you're cancer, but I could have told you you was a Leo your whole life. It wouldn't have changed how you spoke, how you came off, because circumstance is what molded you. Every time your birthday came around, you thought about, oh, it's my birthday. Uh, this today we're gonna go out. We're gonna be able to go outside. We're gonna kick it on the inside. His birthday came around. He turned 14. Now it's his turn to turn 14. He like, yeah, we at the pool. We at the pool. These two different circumstances of growing up, every time you celebrate something, will have y'all looking at y'all celebrations different. Because when it's time for you to turn 14, and he say, I'm turning 14 this year too, y'all whole approach with each other will be different based on y'all circumstance. Just like a rat and a squirrel. They in two different circumstances. But if you put the squirrel in the same circumstance as a rat, it will act like a rat. But as long as it's in the circumstance that it's, if you put a rat in the same situation with a squirrel, if it's a baby, not when it's grown, but it's a baby, it'll try to act like a squirrel. It may not be a squirrel, but it'll try to act like it based on the circumstance. So all these titles and all this stuff that we have is because somebody mapped out circumstances so bad, so down to a microscopic intelligence. They didn't go macro with it; they went micro with it, and they went so micro with it that they knew they understand. Whoever controls this world knows where all the roads of circumstance lead to, and based on how you were born, when you were born, your environment, all that plays a part of the chance. 9 times out of 10, he's going to be this, and 9 times out of
Yeah,
10,
you're
it's going to
right
turn
and
out like
everything.
that.
But the thing is, they, it makes sense for them. Whoever they is, it makes sense for them to do that because the people wouldn't believe it anyway. So actually, they
Right.
keeping it real with you. You know, because
Yeah.
it's right
Yeah.
there. It's like the game is to be sold, not told type of shit. It's right there in front of you, but
Right.
you ain't gonna believe it anyway. So, hey, I'm doing it right in
Right.
front of your face.
Right. Right. So no matter what idea that you attach yourself to, or not, there's nothing you can believe in that stops you from dying. So watch what you put value on that you believe in, because it really ain't gonna be nothing that's gonna stop you from dying. So the truth is to live your life without doubt and feel good about yourself. And that's just the
At
real
all
glory
time.
of life. Yes, feeling good about yourself and not doubting yourself.
Everybody,
That's called living
everybody
having a
going
human
down the
experience.
slide though.
Once you add
Everybody,
once once you add anything outside of feeling good about yourself and you doubting yourself, you're having a non-human experience. Now you're dealing with uh it's easy for you to become into an animal nature with doubt.
everybody going down the same slide. Nabi, they said if you put your hands up though, you'll go faster.
Yeah, you'll go faster, but faster or slower, you still gotta go. Just like it's just like when
But
the
it's
bell
like you
rings.
said before, though. It's been us the whole time. So at the same time, that little fear that's trying to quick creep in can't creep in because that's just in the deep end. And that's where we
Yeah,
spend. You know,
yeah. The fear came in because
it's always been us.
as we
The same motherfucker talking
yeah
this crazy shit was always that nigga talking the crazy shit then.
It's
yeah
always.
it's always the doubt and non-belief in self creates a whole nother experience for you when all you had to do was believe in yourself. It's like the Dorothy Toto Wizard of Oz allegory. The allegory is it's a tin man, it's a lion, it's a scarecrow, it's a little girl, and it's a dog. So let me show you how that breaks down in real life. In real life, you're going to need everything that the Wizard of Oz shows you. Just like the lion, you're going to need courage. to move towards your destiny. Just like the Tin Man, you're going to need the heart to stand up for what you believe in. And just like the Scarecrow, you're going to need the brains to keep your situation in a comfortability where you don't let the things of the outside influence your inside feeling good. You're gonna need the brains to do that. And then the Dorothy, the going home is in the heart. It's always been walking around with you. Like you wanna go home. Home is you already home because no matter where you take yourself, there's nowhere that's inside of you with you. No matter where you go, everywhere you take yourself is home. Home is inside the body. That's home. Everything outside of that is what you fixate around yourself. Home is the body. That's home, and it's all you always been home. And then to be non-biased is what the dog Toto was, and that's why the dog Toto was the only one that was able to look behind the curtain and see that it's not a great Oz. It's just an old man that's like the rest of us, and just found himself something to do. No, no, the Scarecrow didn't see that. The Tin Man didn't see that. Dorothy didn't see that. The dog seen it because the dog didn't have the beliefs that they had. The
Each
dog
one
had was a non-bias.
is
Each one had a
crazy.
belief.
It's crazy because each one was being its own thing. The Scarecrow was in fear. They always you fear was like playing a big part though.
Right.
Just
Fear,
being
the
scared.
fear of doubt. Doubt put that there. Remember, the crows put the doubt in him.
Yeah.
The Scarecrow didn't. The crows made him figure out you can't win. The
Yeah.
crows made him feel that way. The lion was set out there at the library because technically didn't nobody make him feel that way. He just was by himself. He didn't have the courage to be by himself. Just like the Tin Man. The Tin Man didn't nothing really happen to him. The woman that he was crying over didn't even exist. But him having tears showed that he had a heart. See, we walking around with the abilities to do things and change our lives, but we've been put. Somebody put doubt, the seed of doubt inside of us, like on the Wizard of Oz, where we're sitting
We
around like
did.
the scared man, Dorothy and Toto. We sitting around acting like we're lost and this is the world like this. Ain't nothing. It's only like that because you believe it's like that.
Yeah. Hey, it's
See, if you get
crazy.
if you get like the
It's crazy
if
now
you get
because
like
I
the
just
dog Toto,
just yesterday, I lost another one of my uncles, and it's like it be kind of trippy
mm,
because you see somebody so powerful in your life, going through life, and and then like this death thing happens, and then even the way it do happen, bro, it's like, it don't matter who you is or what you is or how you going through life. There's some things you not gonna be able to control.
no, no. And those things are the things that show us that we all equal. Death shows you that there's nobody better than you because everybody
Tell
got
me
to go
one
through it.
thing in life we need to control. What do we need to control?
Nothing. Nothing.
Right.
Nothing.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. Only thing you need to, I suggest for a human, I didn't say they would need to, but what I always suggest for humans is to stop doubting yourself.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We could
Yeah.
step outside right now and just be it. Money in your pocket. All together as one. Right now.
Even without trying, you
Yeah,
already it. Cause I think the it thing is playing itself in so many different ways that you can go, okay,
Already.
it's
That's the
like
only
we need to
reason why.
stop doubting ourselves, but then at the same times we need to doubt ourselves.
yeah, because when you doubt yourself, you just be. When you don't doubt yourself, you become being because you can be in anything. You can be, but if
Be
you want to be,
humble,
that's
be
when you become
humble, be
being.
humble.
Yeah.
They try
When you
to
don't
tell you to
doubt
be
yourself,
humble and shit.
yeah, when you don't doubt yourself, that's when you're being, being. But when you doubt yourself, you just be.
You just be
You just be.
whatever that doubt
Hmm.
is.
Yeah, well, you just be whatever that doubt is. But if you're being, being means no doubt. Because whatever you want to be, that's just what you be. You're being that,
Exactly.
and that's just what it is.
Exactly. And you
But if you doubt
accidentally,
yourself, you're not
you,
being anything.
like even with confidence, you can confidently being something that you know probably ain't good. That's what's crazy because you push yourself in all these different directions, and you like a lot of times you'll even think why do everybody, no matter who it is, what they think and however they doing it, they always think they going in the right direction. Like even if they got eat, like it don't matter what we do or how we do it, like we'll figure out a way to make that thing from, like you said, being a good thing or a bad thing, and we'll go, okay, well the bad thing gotta happen in order for the good thing to happen. What if it just really isn't no good or bad, period?
That's what I said. It's just it all boils down to at the end of it, you got senses. That's what you was born into this world with, your common sense. So with those senses, you have the ability to make a sound judgment of all matter. So once we start doing that, then we make these judgments and we say to ourselves like, I feel good today. But then I'll watch TV and I'll see this dude. He got a Bentley, or he got this, he got that. And if I feed into that, then I start doubting myself. Now I'm doubting me just being. Me just being is what's important because if I'm being, then that means that I have no doubt in myself. That means the happiness is coming from within because happiness comes from not doubting yourself. You can't be happy and have doubt at the same time. It just don't work. That's why
And the
people get
feeling
drunk.
is a
A lot of
chemical
people like,
reaction.
yeah, yeah, because a lot of people like to get drunk because it blocks the doubt for a minute.
Yeah, it kill all them
They
stop
don't doubt
signs.
themselves when they drunk.
But it's all just a
Right.
chemical
When they drunk,
reaction.
yeah, they call it spirit. They don't call it spirits for nothing. Give you a temporary non-doubting yourself moment. Now you think now you're back to thinking you really can do it. Now you're saying that's why they say drunk people tell the truth because he's not
Yeah.
doubting himself in that moment. But then when he sober up, he get back to doubting himself. Some people don't want to accept that part, so they just fuck it. I'll just stay drunk because that's the element that keeps them in a position where they're not doubting themselves. They don't have the courage to do certain things, but they will once they get a little few bottles in them. Then they'll go over there. Yeah, oh, he showed up. Yeah, he's drunk now. You know what I'm saying? He's drunk now. So, you know what I'm saying? He got a temporary doubt block. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
man,
Soon as
he
that nigga,
called you a
soon as that
name.
nigga sober up, yeah. Soon as that nigga sober up, all that doubt coming right back. I was like, dang.
And then he
They
like, I
they
gotta
did
go
say I
get
was
me
supposed to
another
get
one.
right. He like, I gotta go get another one. If he doubt he can't pay that bill, he gonna start tripping about it.
Man,
So doubt is what we gotta conquer. Conquering doubt is what we gotta conquer. There's nothing for you to doubt. You live, you die. Everything in between is a plus. That's why if you look on the tombstone, it only has the date, the year you came in, and the year you went out. Why? Because everything in between doesn't matter.
don't
You can't take
matter.
nothing with you.
People be trying
Everything
though,
in between
Navi.
the time you came, huh?
I said they be trying to take stuff with them though.
Yeah, but you can't. But the tombstone show you what life is about. The time you came in, the time you went out. Everything in between doesn't even matter because it was just there for you to experience anyway.
But instead of
So,
talking about the non-existent, what part of the in-between matters? None of it completely. That's what you're saying.
well, none of, yeah, I'm saying none of it
What's the
does. Yes,
purpose?
because if it did, the purpose for you to develop, you mature as a spirit by
Yeah,
putting
that
things
means
in
something
around
happened
you.
then. Then something happened. Yeah, that's
Well,
something.
you
That's
are
a
a
major
being.
thing.
You, fuel yourself. So life
You
put
gotta let
things
them
in
know
front
right
of us
that
to
part right
fuel.
there. That's the main part. We gotta say that part.
Yeah, we need energy to fuel us. So life is energy. So there are circumstances put in place, mother, father, all these things that go with our senses. Our senses need things to react to. So we have a construct in this system that you're born into. It's called a lineage. From that lineage is just like a Chevy, like how you got Chevys, you got Benzes, you got those are different lineages, and it don't matter uh, who's driving it because everybody that drives them gonna be different, but they can't do nothing different in it. Even though I'm in the Franklin body, because that's the body, that's the model body that my soul came in. That don't mean that. So that means that the DNA structure that I'm in, I can deal with whatever capabilities it has. But who I am ain't the body. So that means that my mother ain't her body either. But we share a common ground because I came through her to get here. I didn't come from her. I came through her. You didn't come from your mother. You came through your mother. We all individual beings that start from one set base called consciousness. And then once we get in the body, it's called person. And so then we have these experiences that give us a personality. And then we have a reality. But that reality is for the experience of this body. Because the body is what's fixated to this world, not my soul. My soul is inside of this body right now. And then when the energy that I have in the body cannot be accumulated anymore, I will start getting tired. Like if I walk through life without getting sick, without anything bothering me, then naturally my energy will decrease. It may take 100 years, whatever it takes. It may take only 80. It all depends on how much energy I'm running around with. And then one day the sun will be able to produce energy for me to get up, but not enough for me to live out a full day. Just like when you was a kid, the energy that the sun used to give you was enough for you to go outside, ride your big wheel, come back in the house, go get your bike, ride your bike, come back in, throw the ball with the homeboy down the street. Your homeboy see you. Y'all chase each other around the block. That's how much energy the sun was giving you. But you've been accumulating more mass, more space. So now now that same energy that the is giving you the same energy, but the problem is you got more mass and more space. You're not in that little body no more. So now you can't move like you used to no more, and that's all based on energy. You don't have the energy to keep your muscles in tune and your bones. That's why we gotta exercise. Exercise is energy. Since we got cars and stuff like that now, cars and bikes, we have to exercise because before there were cars and bikes and stuff like that, man got all the exercise in the world because we walked everywhere we went. So that's why they were so healthy. That's why they was living to 100 and 200 years old because they was experiencing energy all day long. Today, man drives a car, so he's not using his kneecap muscles his kneecap bones or his ankle muscles like it. So now he's been driving for 40 years like that. He's been wearing drawers the whole time over his life organs, so the sun ain't been hitting that. Now he's wondering why him and the dude next door is being diagnosed with the same disease. It's all by design, brother. If somebody tell you to wear a pair of drawers or a pair of panties, and you looking at it like it's just there so it can catch your bowel movements and all that. No, that's not what it's there for. Those are life organs. They supposed to be getting more sun than anything on your body, the bottom of your feet and your life organ. So if a woman's breasts are or it's in a bra, and her lower parts and panties, and a man is he's in drawers and he's been like this his whole life. So what happens to the human system that makes us all die 5 different ways? that we never factor in our life organs being covered up. We never factor it in. That's how intelligent these people are because they know that we're souls, and so they figure they've been making more stuff and they've been opening up more space. So to do this, we're gonna have to slow down the process of the souls being able to jump in the bodies because we ain't got enough homes to fill it to do it. So we got to slow this process down. I know God said be fruitful and multiply. We're gonna slow this down because because look at what our technology and stuff that we build and everything we build is cool, but we can't keep up with the wetlock. We can't keep up with the wetlock. The ones that's having babies out of bringing souls through. That's cool because there's somebody that just died that need that body. That's cool, but we don't. But how we moving in the world. Eventually, the people gonna override what we got for the people, and then it's gonna cause chaos and all that. So we have to form some type of population control to get in control of it. It sounds evil, but it's just cars. The body's nothing but a car. They trying to balance it out. So they looking at
And it's
so
just
who's gonna
us
be the
doing
first
it
coming?
though. It's us doing
It's us doing it. Yes, it's us doing it to better our future. You know what I'm saying? You in your future now from the dude you was in 1850. You just don't remember who he was. Just like I don't remember who I was, but we still alive. We didn't die.
You know
Death
something
is
else I
death.
was tripping off of, not Nabi, is like we the ancestors.
Yeah, that's
We
what I'm saying. Yes,
we are the ancestors
yes,
of the future
we are.
generations, and we the ancestors that was back then.
Yes, it's a cycle of life. Like even our kids are somebody's great great grandparent that died. Our kids. You're looking at your daughter right now. She's only five to you in your lifetime, but in her lifetime, she just left as somebody's grandmother about 5 years ago. She was somebody else's grandmother. That soul was. That's why God said. That's why the allegory: be fruitful and multiply, because souls need bodies. We need bodies. Otherwise, we'll be sitting in the air. You'll be able to see, but you'll be floating around like in the air. You'll be able to hover over trees, hover over. Oh, that's all you'll be able to do. It's like you won't have you'll be conscious, but you won't have memory conscious. There won't be no reason to think about it. Like, why am I flying? Why am I? You won't think like that. It just be. So so that's why we have to be fruitful and multiply, because ain't no escaping the system. So some people have memories of it. Like I had dreamed that I was flying around. I was in the sky. Yeah, you was when you died. You know what I'm saying? You just lucky to hold on to that. Congratulations. You held on a little piece when you was in between bodies. When you buy a car, you do not want to get rid of it. You're like, damn, like, damn, transmission starting to go out. Damn, I bought this car about 4 years ago. Man, this is my ride, man. Damn, you acting just like the family do when they're at the hospital. Damn, man. Damn, this transmission about to go out. Not even knowing that that's just the car. You gonna get out and get in something else. And until you do, you're gonna hover around at the house or somewhere until you do. Same thing the spirit does until it gets a body. But we've been having enough bodies. Because when somebody died, there's another person being born. The day that there ain't no babies being born, that's the day that something happened to where this is the end game. Because you'll know if it's the end game because there won't no babies be born. It wouldn't make sense for the system to repeat giving you free men when the game is about to be over. It's not going to give you more men when the game is about to be over. It'll give you men up to up to where the limit. Once you reach the limit, it won't give you no more free men. That means the game from this point when you go out is over. Well, this construct that we in, uh, we've been moving for a long time. We come from uh, many different lives, man. Inside the ocean, outside the ocean, on the surface, in the earth. Us as souls, we've been moving around. Belief belief systems to me is what gets everybody thinking that you are the human being, that you are the human, that you are it. And so that's what makes people think like, I don't want to die, and you know, there is no. They say stuff like there is no God, or they say it is a God. They're saying all these things that ain't got nothing to do with living and dying, because they didn't feel victim of the things that are here for you to, uh, you know, experience, not to fall in love with, and not to get so attached to it. Don't get too attached to it. Yes, love the things of this world, but don't get too attached to it. Because you can't find one man that took something with him. Think about all the billionaires that's out there in that cemetery right now. He couldn't take $2. Died with $250 billion in the bank and couldn't take $2 when he
Like
left.
the kings,
So
and
that
the all the other rulers also. Like any ruler that ever
yeah, the
walked
king.
this planet, any king,
Hmm. Yeah,
emperor, but
it didn't matter.
they tried.
He became a poor man. Death, death brings you back to a poor man. It don't matter how much money you got, you become the poor man when it's time for you to die. Because money can't change your death. So that's when you're back to being the poor man.
Put $2 in my
You
hand
ain't
so
no
I
rich
could feel it
man when you're on your.
before I go.
No man feels like a rich man on his dying bed. You can get the richest man in the world. He won't feel like a rich man if he's in his dying bed. No, he won't. That's when all the illusions go out the door. Like, damn, I accumulated all this stuff for nothing. I'm about to die. I thought I was better than somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
I thought I did all this to prove I was over everybody. And that same thing that's taking everybody out, about to take me out too. You see all this money I made? I don't get no extra pass. I don't get no, like Sister Betty at the church. She went to church for 40 years. Ain't harmed a soul. Still got to die. Because the soul gets ripe enough to where, it's got to go. It's got to go. You outlive, your awareness outlives that physical suit that you in called the body. Your awareness outlives that. So now that you that aware, you've reached the peak. You've reached the peak. You're fully aware of what's good and what's not. You are reached the peak. So once you reach that peak, you're downhill from there. That means that you got to come out of that. You got to start over. You cheated. Now you're getting to the point where uh, you have to start over. So what life gonna do is take you back to your baby stage that you started in. So you're gonna lose your teeth, you're gonna lose your hair, you're gonna get wrinkled, all the things you were in the beginning. Life gonna take you back to that, so that you can go in the way you go out the way you came in. That is by yourself. It's
like
gonna detach you
we
from
get
everything.
we get smart though. We gonna make teeth that don't fall out. We we gonna start making all
Yeah, we
kinds of
will.
stuff
Yeah, we will.
that we think gonna last too.
We
Cause
will.
back then when we was making it, out of donkey teeth and shit like that, it was like, that was a win-win back then. Now you think about that now, it's like that was stupid. So we like a
Right.
1,000 years from now, we probably come up with a way to grow your teeth back.
Yeah, we will.
Miracle
Hey, that
grow.
was
We
the
will.
case, man. He just
The crazy
explained.
part is, the crazy part is, me and you had
They
never
already got
even.
the teeth growing shit.
The other crazy part is,
The Japanese managed to do it. They say they're gonna commercialize it by 2030.
oh
Yeah,
wow,
what you say?
Yeah, you can look it up.
there you go.
Everything you
They
think
started
of,
trials.
somebody, one of your,
This year they started trials on that shit,
it's like any
and they
idea
can
you can
they
Yeah,
can
come up
already
with.
3D print. They can 3D print organs. It's just if you're a millionaire, if you're like a certain level of money, that don't mean anything. They're not gonna let you have access to that kind of technology because you're just a dude who managed to get a bunch of money. You don't really mean anything. But if you're at the
You
point
don't
where
need
you're like
no
doing
technology
deals with
to
like
do any of
governments
that.
and shit, like, bro, look at Elon Musk like 10 years ago and look at him now. Like, dude got new hair, he's got new bone structure, his body's completely different. He's like twice the size without having any muscle mass. He's obviously doing a bunch of shit and he's paying for a bunch of shit to enhance himself.
Yeah.
Same with Jeff
Hmm.
Bezos. Yo, look at Jeff
Exactly.
Bezos. The dude literally looks like a bodybuilder. Like people are even calling him Lex Luthor. Like he's building giant clocks in mountains. Like he spent $20 million to build a giant clock that'll last forever inside of a mountain, and he has a evil dude lair up in China. Like he bought a whole mountain in China and he had it built as like a doomsday mansion palace thing.
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
those guys are probably doing genetic engineering on themselves, and eventually, when it like comes out to being really safe, they'll probably be the first dudes that get that stuff that when you cut yourself, it heals really quickly or whatever, like some Wolverine stuff.
Yeah. I can see that because quantum physics is going to take them there. The more we get microly intelligent, the more we'll be able to do anything. The micro level of life. Once we got that down to a science, I
My
believe
thing
we can do
is, we know about those people, so they're probably like the bottom of like the top because we know about them. Because if you really think about it, the ones that you don't know about, those are like the mid tier and higher tier of the top.
Yeah, yeah. The ones you don't know about. Yeah, the ones you don't know about usually are the ones that work with the ones that ain't all the way humans. They beings, but they're not human. They beings because they look just like us. They beings. You know, you can be a being and look like us. We human. We're the human, but the being. Which is like saying new model car. It's a new model ride. Look what we got to ride. Look what we got to ride in. The spirit say, look at this one. Let's make one that's kind of like us. We've been riding all these other vehicles. Let's make something like us, kind of fit like the conscious, the soul. It'll be able to think. We'll have three brains in it. So most humans go through their life thinking that their body has one brain. They really go through life thinking that their body has one brain. You
Yeah,
ask a person,
where does
a
that
normal person today,
where does that legend
you
of
ask a normal person today,
the double-brained Yakub
well,
come from? Where does that come from?
well, well, I don't know about the allegories of as far as Yakub and his story of building white people and stuff like that. But what I do know about is uh, genetically, uh, because the story of Yakub, how he built these people and and all that. But we derived from something different than that. We did. What you're talking about with Yakub is him being one of those people in the earth who came out. His parents were of two different species and came together and formulated him. He had a bigger forehead, very intelligent person. Uh, since they had a problem with him on the outside, he decided that he was going to make a people that was going to rule over them. So that's that story of Yakub and all that. But our story is a little different. Just like the African. The African's history, you always hear about it when you think about the black man, the crayon. I'm gonna say the crayon color, meaning black. The black man. When you think about that, you always think that Africa and all that. Nobody never factors in China because they don't. That part of the history leads us back into the inner earth. So where we settled at was in Africa. The black man The dark man settled in Africa. That's where he settled. That ain't where we were coming from. That's why we were all over the planet. That's just where we had settled. But that wasn't where we were coming from. We were coming from inside the earth. That's where we were coming from. And we started, we came out from China, what they call China area, that area. After we came from in the inner earth, we settled first in that I'm talking about the black man. He settled in that area that they call China. That's why the Chinese, when they checked their history, it went back to these dark people, look just like them and everything, but they were dark. They were, very black, and they have hundreds of statues in caves of these black people, that's dressed like Chinese people. So then, as that goes on, it just kept going across from there to it just kept going across to where when they got to Africa, that's where they settled because that's where all the minerals were. We were getting kicked out. We wasn't coming out because it was a blissful thing. Like, yeah, yeah, we getting the earth. No, we got kicked out. So they like, we're gonna start them over here. We're gonna start them over here, and we're gonna mate this one with this one, and they no longer get to mate with us. So they don't have they won't ever have our intelligence. These people won't. The story of us is different than the story that they give us. The only reason why they do that is for the purpose of crayons. If I can make you think you black and I can make him think he white, then whatever goes with black, he'll accept it, and whatever goes with white, he'll accept it. So from that point, I can put together a world fixated on color. Now, if I go across to overseas, it won't exist. But when you're in America, it's fixated on color. And you say, why is it like that? Because this was like the first salad bowl, fruit bowl, where this was like the first place where it's like first Disneyland. Like everybody can come. Come on, everybody. So that means everybody religion coming with them too. So that would make us pagans naturally. Because it's like be what you want to be, the land of the free. Come on with it. Yeah, yeah, sure, come on. So that led to belief systems scattered everywhere. People that from their region learn what they learn based on their region, and it works for them. But then when they come inside of a country that's allowing everybody to be everything, then the confusion starts. Now you got Muslims thinking about being Christians, and Christians thinking about being Muslims, and you got Christians and Muslims thinking about being atheists. You got atheists thinking about being Scientology. All this stuff that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Because that ain't got nothing to do with us. What got something to do with us is experience. That's we're here to experience this thing and make wise decisions so we can harness the energy of good. The energy of good makes us more of a light person. The more of a light being I become, the lesser I would need the body. Once I don't need the body anymore, that means that I wore out the energy that the body can reproduce. As me being a soul, I'm going to produce energy because I'm connected to the sun. So me and the sun are one. Me as a soul, we're one. That's why I'm a person, because me and the sun are one. But the body itself is of this fixation. So even though I'm going to always be energy, the body is not going to be able to bounce back the energy I produce it one day. So me being a being ain't gonna feel nothing. But since my nervous system is attached to my spirit is the vibration in between the body and the soul. So now my soul is alarmed that there's a problem. Even though me as the soul can't feel it, my spirit can feel it through the nervous system. Because you got your you got and you got the body, which is the brain, and then you got the spirit that's in between. It's the body for the soul. The spirit is SPIR, meaning to breathe it. So that's why I say man took the breath of life because you have to breathe spirit. Spirit means to breathe it, to breathe it. Look up SPIR. It means to breathe it. So that's what spirit is. You breathe in this like uh, the air makes a replica of your body, and then the soul sits in that. So if that's not there, the soul can't sit in there. So if I put my hands over your nostrils and your mouth, then it's cutting off the connection with the air that makes the spirit. So now that's tampering with my spirit. So consciously, I'm gonna try to get loose because if I can't, if my spirit can't sustain its air, its oxygen, then me as the soul can't sit in it. And once it gets to a point where the spirit begins to deteriorate, meaning it begins to evaporate, then me as the soul will lift out of it. But it has to, the spirit has to start to evaporate. And then those things that are connected to the brain will leak fluids out. And these fluids that leak out are similar to like DMT. And it will leak it out. And that way I can go real calm. When you smoke weed, it leaks a certain percentage of that fluid that's used for when we die. That's why when we high, we like, oh man, I'm so laid back right now. Yeah, that's how you feel when somebody feel when they take their last breath. You see somebody shaking because they've been shot. You know, you see them shaking back and forth because they've been shot. But once the spirit is finally tampered with enough to where it's not fixated right, then the spirit, the soul will come out. So what happens that stuff will leak out of our brain, and then the body starts shaking like that. You'll see them start shaking to stop. Then they go because in that moment that they stop, they didn't feel nothing no more. The pain is all the way up to the time of releasal. Once the soul is ready to release, there ain't no more pain. Pain is attached to the body and the spirit, not to the soul. Once the soul is ready to release, and that's you being conscious. You being conscious cannot control the situation anymore. So what happens is you become detached from it. Now you're what they call dead because you can't control the situation anymore. The body you can't control it. The spirit is not there for you as the soul to work the body. So from there you have to leave it, which lets you know that you was never it to begin with. So these are like this just the car I'm driving. My model car is this car. Booker's model car is the one Booker drives. You know, that's the model car that he was given. But that's not who he is. The name Booker comes from his family, which comes from government. Because when two pair come together to agree to allow the government to stamp their children with tax numbers, that means they're renting them. So you take that pair, which is the mother and father, and you allow them to let you put tax numbers on these children. That means you're renting them. That makes them parents. So since they're parents now, each child has a certain amount of money that's on the child that the government has fixated. We don't know it, but they have it. And so as we go through life, money that we think we asking them for be money that's already tied to your identification. They just make it, they just want authority. They just like you are, but to make them feel superior to you, they have to have some form of trick. Well, that's the trick. The trick is what a parent is. There's only a mother and a father. There's a mother, there's a father, and there's son or daughter. There's no such thing as a parent. That is a government construct because they rent pairs children. The pair is the mother and the father that they rent the child by putting the ID of a social security number on it, birth certificate number on it. Now it has a certain value to it. Some people call it their sovereignty or their, these. I've heard some 5 percenters talk about their sovereignty or something they was talking about. But yeah, it's tied to all that. So the government already know that you are a being. They know that you're a soul because they got to know the truth to trick you. Government knows the truth, but they can't tell you the truth because if you knew the truth, you wouldn't care about dying. You wouldn't care about good or evil if you knew the truth. If they told the world the truth, nobody would care about good or evil. People will rob and kill because they know the truth. They know the truth that these things are put here to control my behavior. It has nothing to do with the outcome of what I am. I'm a soul. I'm a consciousness. So this thing says if I do this, you're wrong. If I do this, you're right. You do this, you're good. You do this, you're bad. You do this, you're not good. You do this, you're not bad. Okay, those are the titles put on circumstances that I may face, but I may have to make whatever choice I make. That once I make that choice, you already ready to judge me with a title. That title ain't gonna change me from dying one day. Neither is you judging me gonna stop you from dying one. So why are we even worried about each other to begin with? Experience life, bro. Experience it. You like doing DMT. And the government said, okay, well, what is it that they like doing about it? You've been hearing about this. What is it? Well, they have a world that all these people around the world are saying that they see in these same people. Okay, so they see in these same people. Okay, so let's try to map this world out. Let's try to map this world out. Let's come up with us some DMT, but it has our nanobots in it, and that we can cipher this world that we're going to. So the DMT that Mike Tyson and them is going over there to get off the frog. No, 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 no. We'll create some these nanobots in it. They'll get the same experience because we're going to get it from the frog, but we're going to put this in, and that way we can map out the psychedelic world from a quantum level. So as we speak right now, our government is mapping out what y'all be talking about. Like when y'all be talking about, yeah, I seen the Osiris, they are mapping that out right now. You can go look it up for yourself. They mapping it out. They're like,
I
okay,
believe you. They're gonna start
so
selling.
what they're tapping in,
They're gonna start selling space over there.
go
Watch,
ahead.
like the metaverse.
Yeah, yeah. They mapping it out. And then they figured this out. They said they understand why so many worlds. And the guy was like, the reason why in the DMT experience they go through so many worlds because the animals have been through so many worlds. They are the first ones that have been on the planet. The DMT itself that the rich are spawning from are coming from the creatures, the animals. So the mushrooms are born up under uh, the the shit an animal. So microscopically, if that if that shit was part of that animal, then the memories are microscopically somewhere in that shit. If the mushroom is growing through that shit, then the memories get inside that mushroom. So now, from that point, the human being takes these things, and then once he takes it, his serotonin receptors and everything start responding in a different way. And from there, just briefly, he's able to see what the animals see. And now he's seeing this world that he can't explain, but he never factors in the fact of what the animals see and what the animals been seeing. The animals have seen these people, these deities. The animals have already all seen it. We've seen it too. As humans, we've seen it too, but the animals have seen it too. So now we're taking these things off of animals. we stick in the frog, we letting this grow through the cow, and we never factor in that microscopically the memories of these creatures, what they seen. I'm going to see some of that. So I'm starting to see these worlds and this world burning and all this because that frog was around when the volcano and that comet hit. Those frogs was around. They seen it. So now somehow the serotonin receptors that help with our imagination and memory, because that's the two things that the brain can do, imaginate and memory. To do this, it takes the pineal gland and the pituitary gland, one working as electricity, one working magnetically, and they form a force field that inside of that force field, the vibration that we call memory can be presented and pixelated. So it's all of the serotonin receptors. So somehow DMT, mushrooms, these things, they start to move in a way that wasn't designed for a human. So if it wasn't designed for a human, that means whoever's on it is going to see something that humans don't normally see. Because the serotonin receptors are there to help with your vision, what you see. If that can be altered, but what then I'm thinking, what is it altering? Another vision. How did that other vision get there? Microscopically. How? Through what I took. It was still on it. So when I took it, it enhanced that situation in me, and now I'm seeing this world. So now the dude that does DMT comes out of there and he says, "Man, I went through this experience. I seen this. I was, you know, I seen, these beings, these deities. I seen this gesture. I seen all these things." And the government said, "Well, how could this? How could they? Because we never factored in that memory don't go away. It just gets to a microscopic level so small we don't know how to detain it. But those before us, the beings before us, they know how to detain it. They catching it as we come. If you think about why we use the ionosphere, the ionosphere is the area of our atmosphere that is used to send information to humans. That's the area that's being used because it was the natural area that was being used by something that made this anyway. Our thoughts come from there. It comes from the sun. The sun, once it hits the ionosphere, then it comes to us for some reason. So from there, we put our satellites and our certain things in that same area because we figured that if that's what's going on with us, then mechanically, artificially, we should be able to do it too, and we do it. Everything that we do from technology, we see naturally. We seen the holograms reflecting off of silk from caterpillars and certain spiders before we even thought about making a hologram. We already seen it coming off of the silk of caterpillars and spiders. We seen it already. Something that was these colors are coming off of it, and then I can almost see like it almost looked like a rainbow right in front of the web. But there's no where's the because it's reflecting off of the web. And that's when, as humans, we realize, like, wow, the caterpillar produces the same thing that it takes to create holograms naturally. So does the spider. So if we can do what they do, then we should be able to make holograms and go to the next level, go to the next level. What's all this for? This is for experience to give us as beings more experience so that we can become part of a bigger universe, a bigger life like this. We're just like a this planet is like a bowl of something that it keeps recycling over and over. But I'm pretty sure something is sucking energy from this. Something is feeding off of this. It creates life, puts it in a bowl, puts a dome on top of it, creates life, let it do what it want to do because the energy that it takes what it want to do, it knows how to harvest it. That energy becomes food. So the taste of sugar that we get can be equivalent to what anger is. When the earth is angry, it creates a energy that to whatever being it is equivalent to salt. When we're happy, it creates a energy that is equivalent to whatever that being is to sugar. When we're in unity, it creates a certain energy that creates the same thing as a steak, and vice and on and on. What we do physically with our mouths, something is doing energetically off of us. We are the image of something that's doing it in a spiritual plane. So if I pick up an apple, that means the energy that it took to do that, that's what it's getting. I'm reflecting it from a physical perspective. When you think about the apple, it's just an illusion anyway. Because once you eat it, it don't disappear, but it gets broken down through your digestive system. Because all you needed from it was the nutrition and the energy that you can't see when you're looking at the apple. So the apple is the illusion to get you to grab it, grab that nutrition, energy that you can't see. Whatever created us knows how to see energy without it being in the apple, and it's feeding off of us. Be fruitful and multiply. Do what y'all gonna do because what y'all do creates energy in which I feed off of. Y'all feed me. We make a lake and then we fill it up with fish, and we tell all these fishermen go fish. The fish don't know that they there for somebody to come get them. They just thinking that they somewhere and they free, they roaming, nothing stopping them from going from this side to that side. But it's all by great design. You're there because we told some people that
and
you in
they
there and they're gonna come get
and
you.
they breeding in order to make more fish to keep the
More
process
fish,
going.
yeah, for something more intelligent. Yeah, for something more intelligent. But they don't know that's what's going on. No different than us. It's hard. It would be totally hard for us to understand that what we do physically, something doing spiritually. So when I grab a apple and start eating it, that's what I'm doing physically. But somebody's gaining from it spiritually, meaning that the energy that it takes to do that, that's what it gains from. So everybody that's producing energy at the same time is creating a color that we can't see, and it sees it. And that's the salt, that's the pepper, that's the meat in a spiritual world. And it's all based on energy, and it's getting full. It's having full, and it's getting full. Like it produces whatever it needs. If it needs this type of food, it produces that. So it lets this much evil go on. We don't understand why it's doing it, but it's doing it from a spiritual perspective. Everything we do in a physical perspective, something is doing it in a spiritual perspective. So you say, why is it letting all this murder and killing happen? Because it creates sadness, which is a certain energy, and it needs that too. If you go back and remember the movie Green Lantern, Green Lantern had all the power. The opposite power was fear, which was yellow. See, they could see the colors. They in the stars, they in the universe, so they can see the colors that we can't see. The, that movie's an allegory. Gods can see the colors. They know the color where that come from. Remember, the people were afraid. So when they were afraid, it created this yellowish color. And this remember that deity could see it and it'll come to it. The green was a different energy. That's all we are. We are souls that produce energy either for ourselves, either we come down in the body, and once we get in the body, we forget that we brought ourselves in so that we can live, so we can produce energy for what we really are on the outside, or we're souls that are inside of a situation that we have no knowledge of why we're there, but we don't need the knowledge of why we're there because we just flow with the system, and it always was. And a lifetime has always felt like just a second. We've been here a zillion years, still feel like just a second ago because that's how existence is. It's all in the moment. Yesterday is an illusion because you can't prove it. Yesterday is still attached to today. All you did was go to sleep and wake up, and the dome turned. The dome that we in, it turns. So the moon goes over that way, which makes the sun look more brighter this way. Then it makes it look lesser over that way. Because it turns. Dome turns. The earth ain't turning, the dome turning. That's why I look like the stars are turning and all that, because the dome itself is what's turning. The earth ain't turning. We'll be shaking all the time. It was turning. The dome was turning. So when we get a good enough flood, you can see the dome through the energy waves that we call rainbow. That's what they be eating. Those rays those colors and stuff we see, those are things. They're not nothing to us. But what created this construct, that's everything to it. So now they got us. So whatever deities that our government work for, they make them create a certain lifestyle for us that will create a certain mind state, which will create a certain energy, and they feeding off of it. Energy vampires, but some are good, maybe some are bad. But bad and good is just a feeling. It's a feeling. You as the experiencer have nothing to do with neither one. You as the experiencer, you the soul, so you don't have nothing to do with neither one. You just come across one or the other. But both of them have nothing to do with you. Like people say, "Oh, he was been like that. He been bad." No, bad ain't in nobody. Good ain't in nobody. These are things that us as beings run across. Good is what they want us to be, because good is how we be able to stay attached to nature, still curious about the stars, the trees, the grasshopper. Nobody even questioning where the insects are. Hey, wait a minute, where are the insects? Yeah, we see a bee every now and then, but where are the insects at? I've been saying this for almost 2 years now. I've been saying it to my wife, like, something ain't right. Here we are in July. It ain't enough insects out here. I ain't seen enough snakes. I be cutting the grass. I ain't seen enough snakes. What's going on? Where are the insects at? So this 5G tower and all that stuff, these energy forces that we can't see, is affecting nature. The bees don't want to fly around in that area no more. That sound that we can't hear. The birds don't want to fly over that area no more because we can't hear it or we can't see it, but they do. And now we wondering where they at. Like, damn, where they at? People seeing deers run through the little block, and oh, I ain't never seen no deer run. Foxes running through the area. They confused. We got different frequencies going on the planet. So that means that
It's going. Do you think?
domestic animals,
You think it's just evolving? Because it's like
I think,
99.9%
I think they're gonna get
of
rid of them.
everything is extinct. So everything kind of, it's like, because like you said, the energy don't die. It just kind of just transfer.
Yeah, I think the models of what we call animals, that body structure, I think they're gonna stop making them so we can go into the future. And there'll be a time, because when you watch the Jetsons, you didn't see animals.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But when you watch the Flintstones, you see animals. But when you watch the Jetsons, you don't see no animals.
No
You don't see
birds,
no
none of that
blocks,
shit.
no neighborhoods, no birds, no street sign, no none of that.
Hey man,
Because of that.
yo, the moment you said Flintstones, I'm scrolling down my page in recommendations in YouTube. There's literally a video called The Flintstones Apocalypse Survivors. The moment you
Oh,
said Flintstones, that's when that video popped up when I'm scrolling down the page. That's
oh,
really weird.
that's crazy. That because technology has gotten that fast, like almost like the speed of light. Oh, that's what they thinking here. You know, when I pick up my phone later on today, it's gonna be something like that in it. Watch, because my phone's just right over
I
there.
linked
So when
uh
I pick
I
it
linked
up,
the video in general. The
whoa,
second you said Flintstones,
that's
bro, I
deep.
scroll down and I see that shit and it says Flintstones. I'm like, what the
That's crazy. But I don't know like about California, certain areas, because I moved to Nebraska about 14 years ago. And let me tell you, there was always insects. Every time I go out, I'm fighting away from the flies. I'm like, I'm sick of these flies. I'm fighting. I'm out there fighting bees. I'm like, dang. But for these last
My
2
mama
years,
said
man,
that too, like two,
yeah,
3 years ago. Now she said, "Hey, you notice you don't see no more bees?" And I'm like, "I seen one.
that's what I've been saying.
I seen one. That ain't
Man,
bees. That's a bee."
yes. Come on, man. Something ain't right, bro. Something ain't right. I like on my properties. I cut the grass. I see snakes every year. The last year, I was noticing that I wasn't really seeing them. This year, I ain't seen one yet. Not only that, I always hear the locusts in my tree, right outside my tree in the back. I always hear them. Not this year. Something in the frequency that's they got some frequencies around us going on that is going to eventually divide nature, the animals from us. They're going. I think their new strategy doesn't consist of the animals being a part of it. I think they're going to gradually just let it be a slow effect where they just slowly disappear. Because when I was a kid, there were more animals than how I see today. When I was a kid, uh, like when I was young, the story of what they call Bigfoot or whatever, so like that, there wasn't really no story like that. It was just stories of people really seeing things. Like it wasn't nobody trying to have stories. People were seeing things and saying it. Once the government recognized that missing links, some of the missing links were still alive. Some of those old models were still alive, but they had just enough smarts to stay away. They recognize that they still alive, so they hunt them. But they'll tell us that it's something else. But they hunt them because they need that to be out the way because it'll show that link between us and man. I mean, us and animals. All the all the links that were in between us, they've been they hunted them down. That's why you don't see it. The evolution of the bodies, not the soul, but the body. That some intelligent being said, yeah, we could take the arms of that and that and that, the neck of that, this and that, and we can make this. Because it don't look like us. We just in its image, but it don't look like it. I mean, a car is in my image because the car it has four, just like I do. I have uh, two arms, two legs. The car has uh, front wheels, back wheels. Uh, the car has an engine. I have an engine. I have blood, plasma, and I have blood, plasma, and saliva. So then I got when I'm in my car, I have antifreeze, oil, and transmission fluid. The car's in my likeness too. Like the car has a trunk that can store stuff in it to where it's part of the vehicle and I need it. Same thing with me. My mind has a trunk that I can store stuff in it to where if I need to get it, it's because it's based on my body. So and how I've been doing it. So I can grab it. The car is in my likeness too. It don't look like me, but it's in my likeness. It goes forward and backwards just like I can. It's in my likeness. The plane ain't in my likeness. The plane is in the likeness of a bird. The plane is in the likeness of a bird. So when somebody hear like, oh, see, God said we in His image and like that, don't mean it's look like you though. It's just saying that it can grab too, and it can walk. That's what it's saying. It can grab.
Dang, you went out, Navi. I don't know why I did that. But I gotta go anyway, y'all. I'll be back in a little bit. I'll come back and start another live so we can chop it up. I was just listening to Navi. Like, I didn't even want to say nothing.
Yeah, good talk.
Yeah, good talk. I was just listening. I didn't even want to say nothing. I just kind of wanted to let him just go. Because I hope everybody caught that one. I need to type it in the description. But yeah, good looking out, Navi. I'll be back in a minute, y'all.
It's because
Yeah, and thank y'all for listening. That was Navi that was talking this whole time. You got the channel, you feel me? You can check it out if you want, but I need to I'm gonna share it when I get back, but I need to go make a run and then I'll be real back. Like I said, you know, my uncle just passed yesterday. I said, dang, it's like took a lot of losses this year. A lot of people close to me, but you know, what can you do? Life goes on. You feel me? Rest in peace, Unc. But to anybody else who had a loss out there, you feel me? And I'll be back though. I gotta charge my headphones and some more shit, but I'll be back after a while and I'll chime in and just kind of let the live run.